Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jimson Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before we get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss the conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there's a community we can talk about all the things that we love. Today on Throwback Thursday, we're looking at Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This is actually a prequel that happens in the middle of at the time it would have become a trilogy, but years later becomes a quadrilogy. And as I mentioned before, this is all in preparation for the 5th movie coming out. Who knows where things will go. So the only cast member to come back from the first Indiana Jones movie is Harrison Ford. And in addition to him, you also have Kate Capshaw, Ke Huy Quan, I'll just do a blanket, sorry for mispronouncing their name, Amrish Puri, Roshan Seth, Philip Stone, Roy Chow, David Yip, Rick Young, Dan Aykroyd is in this, I didn't even recognize him, D.R. Nanayakara, Raj Singh, wow. Okay, so apparently a dude who was in the first one that was a henchman, Pat Roach, is casted as the chief guard in this one, but he's buried in his costume. That's why I didn't recognize him. And apparently people behind the scenes have their little cameos in here. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. Steven Spielberg plays a tourist at the airport and a missionary, as does Kathleen Kennedy, but she's also a dancer, and George Lucas is also a missionary. The things you can learn simply looking at a cast list. This movie is mostly different from the first one. There's no Nazis. It starts out in Shanghai with a dance number. I guess that's Steven Spielberg practicing for when he ultimately did West Side Story. After the dance number, Indy has a James Bond entrance, which is very fitting for the next movie, but we'll get there. I'm guessing he was commissioned to find a certain Jamson for this one guy, and in exchange, he would get a certain diamond. That's all there is. They're both trying to pull one over on each other. Ultimately, the guy who hired Indy pulls one over on him by poisoning him. And to make things even more interesting, the guy has the antidote. And once again, I got just a little ahead of myself. While they're negotiating and threatening each other, well, Indy's more threatening a woman, Willie, who is the most annoying part in the movie. She's just a whiny brat, plain and simple, which is a criticism of most moviegoers. Indy even makes a joke about it. So obviously, Indy tries to get the antidote, and it just, well, you've seen this gag before. It keeps on getting pushed away from Indy just as he gets close to it. And the diamond's also in the scuffle. And Willie is after the diamond, and that gets pushed away from her as soon as he gets close to it. And I probably would have found this funny if I was, I don't know, 5, maybe 10, about that age where I haven't seen a ton of movies and I haven't seen this gag before. And then there's a whole chase scene where you're introduced to short rounds. If it was just Indy and short round in the entire movie, it would be fine. Kid's a little annoying, but he's not Willie annoying. Unintentional pun. And as a bonus, short round can actually be helpful. They go from being in this nightclub to a car chase, escaping in a plane that's piloted by henchmen of Lao Che. And from there, Indy and gang fall asleep to wake up to the pilots have jumped out of the airplane with the only parachutes. And they're about to crash in the Himalayan mountains. And this is clever. It really jumps the shark though. It is fun, but it goes to show that this movie, at least from the effects, looks like it has a smaller budget. Or the budget completely went into building the rest of the movie. Well, okay, after the village they come across, the palace, and then the evil temple, which is a very elaborate set, because there is a bunch of blue screen used in this movie, and it's very obvious. This movie is enjoyable, but not nearly as enjoyable as the first one and the third one. I actually have to watch the fourth one again. I think I've only seen it 3 times. I honestly can't remember my feelings about it. I think I enjoyed it, but we're gonna get there. This movie did change cinema. It almost got an R rating. It's the most graphic out of the movie so far. There must have been some kind of appeal or something that Spielberg and crew did to get the rating changed, and in doing so, creating a new rating. It used to be just G, PG, and R. This movie started the PG-13 movies. Those are my thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and live your imagination.